Ethan didn't remember falling asleep. One moment he was stepping through that pulsing amber tunnel, and the next he was standing in the middle of a long hospital corridor. White floors, white walls, harsh fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, but no one else around. He looked down. His hands were shaking, small, childlike. He was younger, much younger. A shadow moved at the far end of the hall. A tall figure in a lab coat. Ethan tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. His voice felt trapped behind his teeth. The figure turned. A man, smiling gently at first. But as he stepped closer, his face flickered, then distorted, then twisted into something inhuman. The lights above them shattered, all at once, and darkness swallowed the hallway. A cold hand grabbed Ethan's shoulder from behind. He gasped and woke up. Back in the tunnel. Back with Mara and Lucas. Back in the cold, pulsing chamber of the creature's world. But the nightmare wasn't just a dream. He still felt the hand. Still felt the cold fingers. Still heard the man whisper, "Welcome back, patient 11." The tunnel ahead widened into another chamber, this one different from the others. It wasn't organic. It wasn't stone. It was metal. Industrial. Rusted. Half swallowed by the growing flesh of the creature's dimension. Lucas raised his flashlight. What the hell is this place? They were looking at an old laboratory corridor, but one that hadn't been mentioned in any town records, any maps, any building plans. Mara brushed dust off a wall-mounted sign. A simple label. Research Wing B, access restricted. Under it, scratched deep into the metal as if by claws. Stay out. The corridor vibrated softly, as if something far away was groaning under the weight of the world. They stepped inside. The air grew colder. The smell changed, chemical disinfectant mixed with rotten meat. Flickering lights illuminated long rows of abandoned rooms. Inside each room were overturned exam tables, broken restraints, shattered glass, and paperwork scattered everywhere. Ethan bent down and picked up a water-damaged file. Name, patient 11. Age 8. Status, unstable. Note, compromised after breach event. His blood ran cold. Patient 11. The same phrase from his dream. The same voice. The same hand. Lucas noticed his expression. Ethan, what is it? But before Ethan could answer, a metallic screech echoed from deeper in the lab, long and dragging like something pulling itself across steel. They followed the noise into a large observation hall, walls covered in broken screens, dusty control panels, old biometric sensors. Half the room was swallowed by organic tendrils, like the Upside Down had forced its way in and claimed the space. Mara wiped grime off one monitor. It turned on. By itself. Static first, then shapes, then footage. Grainy but unmistakable. A creature, juvenile form, strapped to a steel operating table, thrashing violently while surgeons in hazmat suits tried to hold it down. The audio popped in. Sedative ineffective. Containment compromised. Another screen flickered on. This one showed a child sitting in a dark isolation room. Ethan froze. It was him. Age 8. Sitting alone, hugging his knees. Rocking back and forth. Crying. A doctor's voice, distorted through the old speaker system, said, "Subject shows strong neurological resonance with cross-dimensional organism type H. Recommend further testing." Mara stared at him in horror. "Ethan, why is there footage of you in here?" He opened his mouth to answer, but another monitor powered on before he could speak. This footage was clearer. Newer. Not grainy. A live feed. Showing a dark room somewhere in the facility, where something enormous was breathing. A shape with too many limbs. Too many eyes. Too much hunger. Lucas whispered, "That's the adult one, isn't it?" The breathing grew louder. Then one of the creature's eyes snapped open and stared directly into the camera. The monitor shut off instantly. A speaker overhead crackled. Then a voice, shaky, panicked, broke through the static. A woman's voice. "If anyone can hear me, run." The three of them turned toward the ceiling. This lab is not abandoned. It was buried. Erased. They tried to seal the breach, but the organism, it adapted. Static swallowed the message, then returned. "If it detects you, it will hunt you. It learns your heat signatures, your breathing patterns, your fear." Another blast of static. Then, "Whatever you do, do not go to the lower levels. That is where it..." The transmission cut out with a sharp digital scream. The lights flickered. And then they started hearing it. A slow, rhythmic thumping. Footsteps. Heavier than any human. Moving through the hallways toward them. They ducked into a side room, a cold file archive lined with metal drawers. Lucas pressed himself against the door as the footsteps echoed closer. Inside the drawers were more files, more tapes, more evidence. Mara opened one drawer and pulled out a sealed envelope labeled Project Doorway Failure Report. Inside was a single photograph. A massive machine with a circular aperture, surrounded by scorched metal, cracked concrete, and a burnt-out control panel. Ethan whispered, "It's a portal. They tried to open a portal." Mara nodded, her face pale. And something came through. The footsteps grew louder, closer, heavier. Lucas held his breath as a shadow passed under the doorway, tall and spindly, its body twitching unnaturally with each movement. A deep clicking noise echoed from the creature's throat. Then, the door handle slowly began to turn. Metal creaking under an unseen hand, the door burst inward. The creature lunged, a mass of limbs and bone-petal jaws. The kids dove behind the shelves. Ethan knocked over an entire drawer of files. Papers exploded into the air like falling snow. Mara grabbed Lucas. "Go." They bolted toward the back of the room, where a rusted maintenance hatch sat half open. Ethan kicked it. It screeched. Stuck. The creature lunged again, so close they felt the wind off its jaws. One more kick. The hatch flew open. The three of them dropped into darkness, sliding down a steep metal chute, spiraling deeper and deeper into the facility. Above them, the creature let out a furious metallic shriek, its claws scraping violently against the chute walls, sparks flying. But it was too big to fit. They slid for what felt like minutes until they slammed into a lower-level corridor, darker, colder, and flooded ankle-deep with stagnant water. Lucas whispered through shaking breaths. Where are we?" Ethan raised his flashlight toward a sign half submerged in the water. The letters were rusted but still readable. Level 3, Core Research and Specimen Storage. Mara stepped backward. No. She told us not to come here." Ethan nodded slowly. "She said this is where it lives." As if hearing him, something massive moved somewhere in the darkness ahead, sending ripples through the water toward them. Lucas swallowed hard. "We're not going back up, are we?" Ethan turned toward the corridor, his face pale but determined. "We don't have a choice." The darkness shifted again. The water trembled. And the three of them stepped forward into Level 3, the heart of the facility where the truth waited for them. Waiting to be found. Waiting to be awakened. Waiting to feed.